Hello students, welcome back to the next section of Software Engineering Lab. In today's session, we shall be continuing with the second exercise related to experiment number 8, in which we will be deploying the Maven web project that we have created in Eclipse and we have pushed into GitHub. Okay, if you remember, we have created Maven web project, we have deployed it into Tomcat, and then we have pushed it into GitHub. So we're going to take that same project that we have pushed into GitHub, and we will be deploying it on AWS using EC2 instance. Okay, so we'll take help of Docker here. So the first thing you have to do is to go to this dashboard, which is called as Launch AWS Academy Learner, and click on Start the lab. Okay, so once this radio button turns to green color, then you can click on this AWS. The procedure is almost very much similar to the previous exercise that we have done. Only thing that will change is the Docker file. So when we clone the repository and we write the Docker file to convert our application into Docker image. Now previously we have taken Nginx using Alpine. Here we will be taking Tomcat because we have deployed our application in Tomcat. So we will write the Docker file in the form of Tomcat only. That is the only thing that will be changing in this particular exercise. So once the AWS will start, you will be redirected to this AWS management console. Now click on this EC2. The procedure, every procedure is same. Click on the EC2. And after you finish, click on the EC2. Wait for it to load and then click on this launch instance. So we'll just wait for 1 minute. Yes, click on this launch instance. Okay, and give a name here. Give a name here, so you can give anything. So I'll give Maven web project example. So you can give anything of your choice. I'm giving it like this. We will be selecting the same Ubuntu operating system here. Okay, the free tier. Instant type also will be t2.micro. We have to create a key pair here. So give some key pair here. Example key. You can give any name of your choice. I'm giving it as example key and then create key pairs. I'm not explaining all of this because it's already being explained in the previous exercise. So save the example key.pem in the AWS folder. Okay. It need not be only AWS. You can create your own folder here. So once this is done, network settings, under network settings, make sure you're checking this allow HTTPS and allow HTTP traffic, both of them here. Right, scroll down and now click on launch instance. So wait for the instance to get launched. Right, so it's launched. Go to instances. So as I told you, the instance should be running as well as the status check also should be checked. So we'll wait for 1 minute for it to get checked. So now the instance has started because you can see that the instance state is running and the status check is 2 by 2 checks passed. Click on this checkbox here and now click on connect. Okay, so you have to go to this SSH client. Meanwhile, go to the path in which your key is saved and copy this particular path. Go back to command prompt and navigate to that particular path. Okay, and then come back to your AWS, copy this command of SSH, okay, and paste it here. Now we are trying to establish a connection between the local system and our AWS service. Yes, so as usual, like the last time, you have to update the Ubuntu, then install Docker, install Git, and install Nano. So what we will be doing, we will say sudo apt update. So you will update all the libraries in this operating system. Once the updation is completed, we will install the Docker first. So say sudo apt get install docker.io. So Docker will get installed. Once Docker is installed, the next thing we have to install is our Git. So I'm reminding you once again. So we'll say sudo apt install git. Then again sudo apt install nano. Now everything is installed. Okay. The next thing we have to do after all these installations is to clone the repository. Now what we will do is we will go to our GitHub, and this is where I have pushed my sample Maven web project. So as you can see here, you can see the pom.xml file, and if I click on this target folder, inside this target folder you should be having the war file here. Okay, war file also should be present. So this is the sample Maven project. Now copy the HTTP address of this, go back to the command prompt and say git clone and paste that particular path here. Okay, everything will be cloned. Click on ls. You can now navigate to this particular folder here. So it's sample Maven web project. Okay, when you type ls, you have seen all of them. Now the next thing we have to do is to create the Docker file. So what we will do, we will say nano space Docker file. Okay, so we have to write the Docker file here. Okay, so we will write the Docker file here. Look at the difference. See what has been written in this Docker file. Please understand it carefully. So we are writing from Tomcat 9 because I have used Tomcat 9 and I have used JDK 11. You might have used JDK 21. So instead of JDK 11, you can give JDK 21 here. Okay, copy target.war files into this local repository. So what is happening here exactly? I'm specifying the base image here. So I'm telling my Docker to use Tomcat with JDK 11. Okay, and I'm telling to copy the .war files from the target folder into the Tomcat web apps directory for the deployment. Okay, so this is what I'm telling it, and then you say Control O, press enter, and then say Control X. You will come out. Once this is done, now we have to build the Docker image. So what we have to do? We have to write sudo docker build -t and give a name here, some name. Say I'll say Maven web project. So this is the name I'm giving, Maven web project. Okay, and I'll say dot. Now your image will be built. Once your image is built, the next thing we have to do is to run this particular image. So to run this image, you have to say sudo docker run. Okay, run it in the background -d and map it to a port. So take 9090 as the port number because by default it will take 8080. Redirect it to 9090. And what is our application? It's Maven web project. So Maven web project is our application, image here. So which we are trying to run it as a container. So enter. Yes. So now it is successfully done. Now what you can do is you can go back to this instance, right? Copy this public IP4 address, click on a new tab, paste it, say colon, then write 9090, put a slash here. Okay, and after putting a slash, you can give the project ID there. Okay, so how you can do it? What is your project title? So your project title is this one, sample Maven web project. Okay, so you can give the same thing there. So you can write it as sample Maven web project. Okay, and then click on enter. Yeah. So this is how you have to get. So if you're not getting it in this particular page, now just use HTTP instead of HTTPS. So you can use HTTP to run the application. So it says site cannot be reached. So sometimes what happens is you have to check whether the port 9090 is available in your instance. Okay, so for that what you have to do is you have to go to these instances, click on this instances, okay, and click on this security option here. You can see here this security option. Scroll down, you will find something which is called as inbound rules. So check for this inbound rules. And in inbound rules, check if you are having port number 9090 here. So as you can see, I'm not having this port number 9090. So what we will do is, we will be creating a new one here. So what I will do, click on the security groups here. So you can see the security groups, click on the security groups here. Okay, go to inbound, click on edit inbound rules. So I'm trying to add my port to this and then say add rule here. Okay, let it be custom TCP, and now here you write down 9090 and here you select for 0.0.0. So you're allowing anything. Right, so you are allowing anywhere or your IP address, and then you can click on save rules. So custom IP 9090 and you have to click on 0.0.0 and click on save rules here. Okay, so just check if the 9090 port range is added here. Yes, it is added. So you can go back and you can just refresh it and you can see that your project is being deployed. Hello, welcome to SE Lab 2024. Okay, so this is how you can deploy your own project or any type of project that you have developed. The only thing that will change is your Docker file while you're creating a Docker image. So you have to understand how to write a Docker file. So once this is completed, you can simply click on sudo docker ps, okay, and make sure that you're stopping the container. Right, so copy this container ID and say sudo docker stop and paste this container ID here and click on enter. Okay, and then simply say exit. You can come out of it, you have logged out, and then simply say exit again. Okay, you will be closed. Now come back to this AWS, click on the instances here. You can see here in the menu, click on instances. Okay, select the running instance and click on terminate or delete the instance. So as I've told you, to avoid the billing, you should make sure that once our work is done, the instances that we have created have to be terminated or deleted. So it is in the shutting mode. From shutting, it has to go to terminated. So we'll just wait for 1 minute for it to get terminated. Okay, so you can see that the instance got terminated. So you can go back here and you can click on this end lab. Okay, so this is how you can deploy any of the project that you want. It need not be a web project, it could be any project, any application, right? Practice, take screenshots and save it into the Word document. Thank you.